Well, just a quickie. I'm doing this for Abby's mum, because she said she's going to the Lampard inquiry or something. So she can use this as she wants. Right. So after all the bollocks I've had today with people saying they're Brockfield House when they're not, people saying my abusive doctor, and neglectful doctor is dead when he's not. Someone said he's left. So, the internet says he works in Birmingham. The internet also says there's two Dr. David Ho, forensic psychiatrists, both with that name, who both work in Essex, both with that name. One's white, one's Chinese. Ho's not a white name, David's not a Chinese name. And it said that the other one is being investigated for abuse as well on women. Right, so forget that. Right, so 6 years after I come out of there, no one's given me any answers. They're all still lying. Brockfield House on the internet, it says it's Brockfield House. It's not. You phone them, it's a command centre, control centre, which does what it says on the tin. They're controlling everything. You say, give me Brockfield House's number. They don't. We can't give you that. I went on Saint last night, Gemini Saint, and I said about it, and it gave me all the details. It told me the manager, Richard. It gave me June Ward's number and all that. And then today I've gone on that thing and it's been deleted from my phone. Same as when I said to Sarah, why did you abuse me in my own home in front of our kids? And she said, when my work found out what I was living with, they had to do something. So she's admitted the matter involved. We all know Essex have done it with the technology monitoring systems, the false arrest, the false imprisonment, where they done just so they could get me put section to Dr. Ho with his needles and abuse. But anyway, so as no one's helping me, I thought I'd phone Kent Police just now, because I reported crimes to them last week that they're not investigating. Like I said earlier, why do you think the police ain't investigating any of the crimes I've reported? Essex Police, Kent Police, Met Police. I've reported crimes to all of them, and they give me reference numbers and everything, but they don't do any investigating. I gave them both my phones with loads of crimes on, years of crime, which amounts to a course of conduct that they're committing, or know who is committing, and they're not doing nothing. They've not even given me they've not asked me for a statement or anything. And yet, like, if I was to commit a crime, they'd have me in prison within a day with statements, CPS, fucking everything. But they've never even asked me a statement for any of it. So I thought I'd phone Kent Police to say, like, my phone's hacked still, which is a criminal offence, which I've got a crime reference number for. So are all my Facebooks. All the evidence is on my Facebook here and YouTube. So if you want to investigate these crimes and ask me for a statement, you can. But it was the same shit. It's a extremely big amount of calls. So I hung up. I thought, I'm going to try Kent Mental Health to see what they say. So I phoned the mental health crisis. He says, if you have a mental health crisis, right, and it's not a crisis I'm having, I'm just fucked off with it all. But that was the only option. So I dialed that, and it said 111, then press 2. So I've done that. And I just want Abigail's mum to know it took 14 minutes to speak to someone. Now, I said to this woman, I said, my friend Abigail ain't here no longer because of people like you and neglectful doctors like mine who neglect their needs and don't do what's best for their patients. And then when people try and hold them accountable, they get put in Operation Bubble Wrap, where they get put in bubble wrap when no one holds them accountable. And no one gives them answers, and they say we're doing this inquiry, changes we need change, and nothing changes, and no one gets held accountable. So that's what you've got me for, to call you all pricks, and that you're aiding and abetting criminals and unprofessional people who are not experts. None of these psychiatrists are experts. They're fucking idiots. Right, so I just phoned the mental. So it took 14 minutes from to answer, and I told them my predicament. Like, about the worst thing for mental health is boredom. Like it said in the book, The Church Left Me in Appledore, the worst possible thing you can do for mental health is boredom. So Abby was locked up for the best part of her young life, 10 years, bored. I was locked up for 5 years, bored, nothing to do, pumped full of drugs that I didn't need, that no one's explained what it was for, why I needed it, because I didn't have any delusions, and even if I did, he says there's no cure for what he diagnosed me with, schizoaffective, and it's lifelong. So it begs the question, why would I need locking up or medicating? What, are these going to lock me up forever just because I'm delusional? But I'm not delusional, am I? Because it's not on my medical records, which they're also refusing to give me. I've been asking for my medical records for years now, and they won't give me them. Because when I was on the Appledore Military Canal, Churchill from Chingford. They sent me in within 5 minutes by email. And I was looking for the schizoaffective that I was imprisoned for 5 years for. And there's no mention of it. It says National Service Framework. And I've joined the doctors here, the Ivy Court. I've been asking them for 2 months now. Can I see my medical records? They've still not let me. I've given them emails, phones. I've been in there. I said, I can just look at them now on the screen if you want, and they won't let me see them. And I looked up laws last night saying they've got to provide them within 40 days. It's been over 40 days. They've still not done it. But I'm giving them some grace because this Ivy Court have been quite good to me. They've given me free fit notes for the DWP in that time that they've still not let me see my medical records. Oh, the person's in Tuesday who can let you see them. I said, you can let me see them. Like, you're a receptionist. What gives you the right to see them? But I can't, right? But anyway, I'm going to give them a chance. So anyway, I had a chat with this woman from Mental Health Crisis. Now, I'll let her know that I'm an expert. She's just, it said they're trained professionals. So I said, you might be trained, but I'm actually a professional and an expert. So I want to know what you've got to say about my predicament, because my physical health is suffering. I'm 50 this year and I'm fucked. I can't even walk down this hill without sitting down. I've had to lay down about 10 times a day because I'm so fucked. And my physical health is so fucked that it has an effect on my mental health. So I was trying to say this to her, that I want to get off the streets because it's affecting me. I said I'm mentally stronger than anyone. I've been through addiction, homelessness, domestic abuse twice, gaslighting, which is the worst form of mental abuse. I had CPTSD from that, where I kept on having reoccurring nightmares of Sarah betraying me in all different shapes and forms because she was the one that was gaslighting me, putting crack pipes in my kid's toy, fucking in about with the electrics. Probably her that done that photo I just posted with Ruby in the middle. She was working with Essex Police and Met Police to fuck me over and get me driven to mental health and stuff, right? So it had an effect on me. It broke my heart, it broke my spirit, and I was a broken man, and I had nightmares. So that's what gaslighting does. So I'm the expert, not you, because I've been through it. And I was saying, like, and living in, look, this is where I'm living, look, right? And people think it's all right. I'm protected under the Human Rights Act and data protection and just common decency not to live like this. I had a home and I was driven out of it by corrupt police. I was put in prison on Christmas Eve for stalking someone I've never met. And they never made a victim statement. There was no statement. They just put me in on Christmas Eve, the one where George Michael died the next day. And they put me in there so they could send a rogue doctor to section me roguely again, where another rogue doctor diagnosed me roguely. I had no assessment. I've never ever had a mental health assessment by anyone, where 3 professionals have been there. But they put me here, they put me there. I escaped from one, they put me in another one. I escaped from there, I get out, and they put me in another one, right? And they're just fucking idiots. Right, to solve a problem, you need to get to the root of the issue. And what the root of the issue is, one day I had a car accident. I went to get my medical records from Lister House in Harlow. And I was going through them and it said, Wayne Heath has a history of domestic violence. And I said, fuck off, no I haven't. Who said that? And they said, Essex Police. So I went down Essex Police, said, what's this bollocks? And they wouldn't tell me. So I got a solicitor, Stephen Elliott, from Guile Nicholas. I said, go and tell them to take that off, the cunts. And he was a good man. He told them to take it off. He said, where's the substances? They said, there ain't none. He said, well, take it off then. They said, no, we'll change it to accused of. He said, well, it still says it, so take it off. And they haven't. So then they proceeded to put on coercive control in. That I'm a stalker, malicious communications. They arrested me 4 or 5 times and put me in the cell for 4 hours, then just told me to fuck off. They didn't give me any solicitors, nothing. Just told me to go. There was another time when they actually made me homeless. I was over Harlow Common Fish and they come over there and arrested me for no reason. Then they sectioned me. That's when I met Abby. They took me somewhere, fuck knows where. And then from there I said, I don't want anything to do with Essex. So they sent me back to Essex, to the Christopher unit. And that's where I met Abby. And again, I got diagnosed. I never said a word to him. Never said a single word. Dr. Oaten it was. He said, do you want to do medication? I said, no, fuck off. I said, I'm going to escape from your secure unit and go and do my own medication and come back. And I done that. I was going to take Abby with me, but I thought she was in the best hands. Now I regret it. And I went and got off my tits for 2 weeks, come back. I said, have I still got drug psychosis and delusions, doctor? And he said, no, I'm releasing you. And he never gave me any explanation, but it's still on my records, delusional disorder, 2016. But there's no mention of schizoaffective that I was locked up for 4 years for, that he just made up on the spot and up my dose. He stuck needles in my arms and he said, I'm up in your dose. When all I was doing was just sitting in my room and playing table tennis with my mates. So I phoned this mental health people, Ken, and nothing's changed. I told them all this, what I was going through and the effect it's having on my mental not mental crisis or health, but my mental well-being, because living like this it's not good for morale and it affects your mental well-being. And they don't do fuck all shit, right? And she said, where are you? I said, it don't matter where I am, I'm in Kent. Yeah, but we need to know, right? Oh, but if we need to send a note, right? So, see, that all, and she was talking over me. Oh, Wayne. I said, no, I'm trying to explain to you what my mental issue is at the moment. I'm dealing with mental people who say mental things about me because I'm just using common sense. There's stuff on my records that ain't true, so I challenged it, and then they sectioned me. There's a picture I just posted on my Facebook of my daughter. I don't know where the photo come from, but it ended up on my phone. It's all surrounded by talk about covert surveillance and monitoring. At a time that was put on my phone where I was being monitored and saying there's covert surveillance going on, and there was, right? And then they locked me up, and they don't give you a chance to prove it. They all speak for you. Everyone speaks for you. And she was saying, oh, were you under mental health? I said, it doesn't matter. I escaped from that. But even if I was, all the fucking records are inaccurate. They're coming from police, friends, family, fucking social worker, right? But no one ever actually talks to the patient because they want to talk over them. They talk about procedures, how great they are in their suits, and they never once listen to the patient. When I was with Abby, I spoke to her. She told me about her dad, losing her dad, about horse riding. She just wants to know what's wrong with her. I was trying to get her to do the cycle of grief about her dad, change her mindset. Like, I was talking with her and listening to her, and all these doctors and mental health crisis teams and all these superheroes, they talk over you and talk for you. They fucking label you as a bed. They don't even call you by your name. They say, oh, yeah, we got a bed. And they just leave you to rot. I saw them with Abby every day. They just drugged her up and she was half dead all the time. It was only me and her that livened the place up by doing our shenanigans, making your own fun. Because like that book in Appledore Church said, boredom's the worst thing for mental health. And this is what these people do. They try and get you in them places so you can be bored. And then to actually drive you mad until you go mad, and then they can say, see, we was right. And it's them places that do it. Mental health hospitals, they're run by mental health people with mental health issues who think drugging people up and fucking labelling them all with one brush is help. It's not. I told you, I've never seen two people with the same issue. I've seen all different things, none the same. But these pricks just walk around saying, that's the drug needed. And they need to, who was Abby a danger to? She wasn't a danger to no one. She probably done what she done when she got out because she was so fed up and had no hope left. She didn't trust no one. She probably tried to phone the mental health crisis team and took 14 minutes to get through. She tried to phone me Christmas Day when I was locked up in the other by the other prick. And then the day I got out, I phoned her. And I was right, so you got to mingle and help each other because no one else does. See, this woman I was just speaking to was just talking over me. I was saying, I just want to tell you what my issue is. That nothing on my phone is genuine. Brockfield House is not Brockfield House. The CQC is not CQC. I've reported stuff to the police and they're not investigating it. They've not even asked me for a statement. And I've got tons and tons of clear-cut evidence. They don't even need to investigate. I've done it all. It's all on here on my Facebook. And no one's looking at it because it's them doing it, right? And it's like, when police are committing a crime, well, who do you report it to? You've got to report it to the police. And then, see, you get nowhere. And when rogue doctors or neglectful doctors act rogue and unprofessional, they say do it to the CQC or the Lampard inquiry. And what they do is they gather evidence of what you know so they can go around covering it up. That's what they do. Nothing's ever going to change. So I just wanted Abby's mum to know that it took 14 minutes for me to get through to Kent's mental health crisis team. And when I did, they just wanted to talk over me and talk about procedures. That's all they ever do. Or getting my medical records. They say, this is the procedure. I say, okay, now give me them then. And they don't. They like to talk about what the law states, and then they go and break that very law. And then you say, yeah, but I've tried that. But you're not doing that, so it's you. It's like when I went to Harlow Council recently, when the police come down for a civil matter, when I remind them, you shouldn't be here. This is civil. So they made up a fucking excuse to question me. I said, all right. Um, and then they took me to they said, can we take you to the council? They might house you. So they took me there. And I said, mate, you drove me out of my house from the police. And he said, you're not from Harlow. I said, I'm from Harlow. Everyone knows I'm from Harlow. Oh, you've not been here 5 years. I said, yeah, I was here 10 years before I got driven out by people who couldn't abide by the law, like the police. And then he says, well, we can't help you because you've got to be here 5 years. And I said, yeah, but I was. If it wasn't for you lot breaking those laws, I would have been here 20 years. And that's why I'm not here. And so they tell you the procedure and what the law states, but they're the ones breaking them laws to put you in the position. See, nothing will ever change. Anyway, I just wanted to send this to Abby's mum in case she wants to use it for the Lampard inquiry. All right, bye.